Could we just get some insight from you just to how the consumer is faring in America and start the conversation there? Are you seeing a pickup and acceleration going into summer travel?
Yeah, thanks for having us. Yes, we are seeing good demand, and I think it's with all this inflation talk, I think it's important to understand that while airfares may be up slightly, overall they're still great relative value, and I think they're not up anywhere near what you're seeing in Uber prices, McDonald's prices, and so forth. So it's a great value. The consumer is still very resilient, and so we're going to see really good travel this summer, I believe.
It's telling to me that you talk about the value as being really important. This is something that we see as a theme in terms of consumers pushing back against price increases. Is that something that you're seeing, that essentially consumers are increasingly searching for value in a way that you haven't seen for a number of years?
We're seeing that a little bit. We've seen it for a while, but again, airfares overall are not up that much. And in Frontier's case, our fares are actually down, and our costs are down. You know, we're bucking the trend on managing costs. I mean, we are hell-bent to have the lowest costs in the country, and we did that in first quarter. You know, our costs on a stage-adjusted basis were actually down 3% year over year. So those consumers are benefiting from our low costs, and so, like, I think it's probably the best value they've ever seen in travel today.
There's a question, especially as a lot of airlines talk about all of their costs going up and how they're actually maneuvering with bigger margins while also providing an experience that's competitive. How do you provide something that isn't just, you know, a seat in a plane that gets you somewhere, but actually is an experience that people aren't going to hate?
Well, it's funny you mention that. You know, we just launched our Upfront Plus product, which is kind of a European business class where we block the middle seat on the first two rows. And so great interest in that. We've also launched our premium economy seating. So we have everything you can get, maybe short of a first class seat on many of the big guys. And we offer a great experience on a brand new Airbus.
The Biden administration issued warnings last week, final rulings about automatically companies like yourself need to provide cash refunds for anything like a delay in a flight. How are you dealing with potentially these much higher costs?
Well, so actually, we are very much largely in compliant with what they're looking for. In fact, if you take the rules of what they're looking for, we refunded over $300 million in that category last year. So we don't see a financial impact from this. In fact, what we're looking to do, we're going to be launching a new website, new app, and other distribution capabilities later this year. And we think that we'll be even more transparent to the consumer, and it'll be more easy to service and get refunds as well.
Do you think the government's going too far, though, imposing these new requirements across the industry?
I think one of the big challenges is, especially with third parties, the technology is not there to do exactly the way they have written the rules. But I think in spirit, I think the industry is prepared and is, in most cases like ourselves, already doing what they're looking for in general. I just think that they need to be a little bit more creative and more accepting of what the technology capabilities, especially of third parties, are.
There's also a question around how feasible it is for low-cost airlines to really succeed and thrive in an environment where size matters. And there's been a real question around mergers, acquisitions. There's been the Frontier Spirit one that's been held up. How much is that going to be crucial for airlines that do provide value to continue to do what they're doing?
Well, I think, you know, one of the things that scale gives you is the power of your frequent flyer programs. And, you know, we look at a huge opportunity over the next several years of being able to increase our loyalty revenues. But in the size we are now, we just have much lower costs, and we can kind of overcome, if you will, that revenue deficit of the frequent flyer programs that the big guys have. But that's why you have to be low cost if you're small. And we are continuing to deliver on that with the lowest cost, and we continue to widen our cost advantage versus the industry.
Is this the model going forward, that airlines are actually credit card companies with an airline tacked on?
Well, I think if you look at the profits of some of the big guys, I don't know that they make money without their credit card.
You don't want to be a CEO of a financial institution, do you, Barry?
Well, I don't know that I would love that either. They're an industry that has a lot of challenges just like ours.